Stains are one of those everyday annoyances, inconvenience, frustrations, quiet things that just like ruin your afternoon. And the real reason why you're not getting rid of stains when you wash your clothes is because you're not using the right products and techniques. And you might think, but wait a minute, I bought that amazing stain remover that everyone talks about, or I do the thing that my grandmother always did. Why isn't it working? Well, the truth is there are different kinds of stains, and for each stain, there's a certain kind of solution or way that that stain needs to be treated. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly what you need to do for each kind of stain, how to easily identify them, and by the end of this video, you're gonna know everything you need to know about stains. You are never gonna have to worry about it again. Oh, and stick around to the end of this video where I share my most embarrassing stain story. I actually debated whether or not I should share this on the internet, but you know what? I'm human. You're human. We've all had moments like this, so I'm gonna out myself. And just a quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to the Clean My Space channel and give this video a thumbs up if you've ever been embarrassed by a stain. Now, I wanna be clear, there is a difference between using low quality laundry detergent and high quality laundry detergent, and I am always a proponent of the latter. Use the best possible stuff you can, because that detergent can do so much in a stain and odor fighting capacity that a base level detergent quite simply cannot. So you're always going to end up with a better clean. And even some stain removers are incredible at removing certain stains, but not all of them. So there are 4 different general categories of stains that we are going to encounter every day. There's tannin stains, which come from things like tea and coffee and berries and wine. There's protein stains like dairy, bodily fluids, eggs. There's oil stains like salad dressing, olive oil when you get a little aggressive, and dye stains, dye, obviously. But then what ends up happening is there are compound stains where you might have olive oil with tomato or with hot peppers in it. So now you're dealing with an oil stain, but also a tannin stain. And that is where things become complicated, because your stain solution might work really well for oil, but might work terribly for tannins. And to understand how these stains behave, let's dive in a little bit deeper. Tannin stains like coffee, tea, wine, and juice will leave behind natural plant pigments. Protein stains, again, these are things like blood, sweat, milk, and eggs. These bond with fabric fibers. Oil stains like butter, makeup, and salad dressing. These, like oil, repel water, so water alone won't work. And dye stains like ink, mustard, and food coloring are literally designed to color things permanently, so they're gonna be challenging. And why most people fail with stain removal is because they just throw one general solution at the problem. But now that you understand what each of those stain categories are, I kind of want to talk about some of the challenges that you can run into in the event that you use the wrong treatment with them. Let's say you use hot water to remove a protein stain, like blood or eggs. Well, what happens when you fry an egg? The egg cooks, and that's precisely what happens when you use heat with a protein stain. It quite literally bakes it in. That's why I always talk about washing your stains in cold water, at least your protein and your oil stains. Now, if you threw a bleach-based stain remover on a protein stain, it would literally do nothing. And let's say you throw bleach on a dye stain because you think, well, obviously I just need to get rid of the color, so I'm gonna use bleach. Well, you might actually ruin the garment itself before you remove that stain. And in the case of tannin stains, you need something that can break down those pigments. So if you're not using that, that stain will persist. I want to talk about 2, maybe 3 of my favorite stain remover products because they are no fail, absolutely no fail products, and I get great results with them. But again, they will work the best when you use them quickly and apply them correctly. And the other thing to remember is that if you have a combination stain, you're very likely not going to remove the whole stain in your first shot. You will have to treat one part of the stain first, wash it, retreat it for the second part of the stain, wash it again, and then you should be good to go. So first up, let's talk about protein stains and what you should be doing. Always, always, always make sure that you scrape and blot to remove any of that extra material from the surface. If you don't do that, it can spread. Now, I find with protein stains, rinsing it under cold water is a really great place to start. For example, if you have a nosebleed or someone gets a cut on their arm and their shirt has some blood on it, take that shirt and run it under cold water quickly. That stain should mostly come off, but there will be some remaining material left behind that you want to deal with. Once this is done, you want to use an enzyme-based stain remover. The best one that I have found is Puracy. I've linked it for you down below. I've used it for years. I talk about it left, right, and center. All of my friends and family use it. It is incredible. Please just get Puracy and keep it in your laundry room. Now, you'll apply this stain remover, rub it in gently with your finger, and let it sit for at least 15 minutes. Launder it with cold water and regular detergent. Once that's done, take it out and hold it up to a light source. You want to look right through the fabric to see if that stain is remaining. If it is, you have to retreat it with the enzyme stain remover. If it's gone, you can proceed as you normally would. Throw it into the dryer, air dry it, whatever you like. Now, if it's a combination stain, the next thing you'll need to do is treat that second part of the stain. So let's assume that it's either a tannin stain or a dye stain. In this case, you need to use a color corrector, and that is where OxiClean comes in. OxiClean is oxygen bleach, and what it does is it helps to break the bond of dirt from the surface, or specifically stain pigments from the surface. Now, the trick with powdered oxygen bleach, which I totally recommend, is that it will only work if the water that is used is boiling hot. So take your boiling hot water, add a scoop of oxygen bleach, I use OxiClean, stir it up. You're gonna see some bubbles. This is good. You want the bubbles. The bubbles are what's gonna do that stain in. Then throw the stained garment right in there, give it a good stir, and let it soak. Now, sometimes that stain might come out within a few minutes. Other times you might want to empty out that bucket and restart the process about an hour later just to really get it nice and saturated with that bubbly action. So I set up this demo to walk you through how stain removal works, where you can go wrong, and where you can do things the right way. So I have 4 different swatches, and what I've done is I've treated each of them with yellow mustard, which is ubiquitously known as one of the most, if not the most difficult stain to remove. Then I used barbecue sauce, and then I squished a few blueberries onto these tops. Berry stains are also notorious for being difficult to remove. Now, once I let the stains sit for about 15 minutes, I scraped the stains using a knife, just a dull knife, to lift up any of that excess material, and then I blotted it to remove any excess liquid. I used paper towel. And the reason I did this is because anything that's wet is going to spread. So if we can get it flat and dry, we can really hone in on that stained area and treat it effectively. Now, for the control, I didn't use any Puracy on any of these swatches, but for the remainder of them, I applied Puracy and let it sit for about an hour before I put it in the washing machine. And in this case, between Puracy and my laundry detergent, it took away the barbecue stains, no problem. So in our second go, I've treated this swatch with another round of Puracy, because let's say you get really frustrated and you're like, I'm gonna hit it again. Well, I wanna show you what would happen if you did that again and why you still might not be delighted with the results. But then I'm gonna show you what happens if you use OxiClean. So to do this, I'm gonna fill up a bucket with boiling hot water. That's the only way that OxiClean is gonna work effectively. Then I'm adding a scoop to the bucket and I'm letting it bubble and fizz. That is the magic of OxiClean. Now, you might notice some color change happening right away. You see this with the mustard stain. In other cases, you might notice your stain disappearing almost on contact. It's pretty cool. So depending on the severity of the stain, like for example, this mustard stain, I need to let this soak for at least an hour, if not overnight. And if it's an old stain, you might have to repeat this process several times before you see success. So now I'm gonna run another load of laundry where I'll throw the control in with no stain removal product whatsoever. I'll throw in the swatch with the second round of Puracy, and I'll throw in the swatch that's been soaked in OxiClean, and we'll see what happens.
So here are the results. With the control, both the mustard and berry stain remain the same. With 2 Puracy treatments, the berry stain came out mostly clean, but not completely, and the mustard stain was only fractionally lighter. With the OxiClean treatment, all the stains came out perfectly clean.
The reason understanding this is so important is because when you get a stain, if you understand, oh, first I need to deal with the grease or the oil, and then I need to deal with the dye or the color correction, you're in great shape. And this is also a great reminder that just because you have a spray bottle, Resolve, OxiClean Max Force, Puracy, it is not a one-size-fits-all solution. I also want to remind you that for basic, simple, everyday stains that you run into, like oil stains, olive oil, salad dressing, that kind of thing, even a little bit of dish soap or laundry detergent, that's designed to cut grease and lift stains. You can take that and apply it right to the stain, rub it in, and launder it right away. It should come right out. Now, in certain very, very sad and depressing circumstances, there will be stains that you won't be able to remove, and that dramatic pause was purposeful. And that's because some stains just aren't meant to come out, like permanent marker. Man, how many times have people asked me, how do I get a permanent marker stain out? And it's like, you can't. So remember, the next time you encounter a stain, it's not about dipping that item in a bucket full of bleach or continuing to hit it with a bottle of stain remover that just isn't doing the job. It's about using the right product and the right technique to get the job done right. And that brings me to this week's comment question, which is there a really embarrassing stain story that you have? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm very happy to share a painfully embarrassing stain story with you. I can't even believe I'm gonna put this on the internet, but it's human, so here goes. I was at a wedding, it was on a boat. I was wearing a black romper, okay, thank God. God was on my side that day that I chose black, okay? And of course, because why wouldn't I had my period on that day. And what do you think happened? I leaked. And I was stuck on this boat. There was one ladies' bathroom. It wasn't a set of stalls. It was like one room that you had to go into on this boat. I had to do like a cleanup situation. I don't even know what I was doing in there. There was a lineup outside. I was very aware of the fact that everyone probably knew that this happened. And then I had to put like a napkin down on my chair because I had definitely leaked through. Oh my God, it was really bad. Anyway, the point is, if you're going on a boat and you're a menstruating woman, please bring extra products with you because you never know when that is gonna be a problem. So now that I've really outed myself, feel free to share your super embarrassing stain moments in the comments down below. Did you know that I talk about topics like this and more in our newsletter? It's called The Dirty Dish, and you can subscribe to it by clicking the link in the description box down below. We also have a membership program, so if you love what we do here at Clean My Space, there's an easy way for you to support that. If anything I said today about OxiClean excited you, check out this video. OxiClean is magic. And this video shares 15 different ways that you can use it around the house to clean and do some other pretty cool stuff. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to the Clean My Space channel. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.